Hello and welcome to another video. Today I'm going to be ranking all of the songs on Let It Be, which is the last official studio released album by the Beatles. And yes, I know this isn't technically the last album by the Beatles because this was all material recorded before Abbey Road. So technically Abbey Road is the last Beatles album, but this was still released after. And my main gripes with this album are the production by Phil Spector, which I'm pretty sure is the first different producer rather than George Martin on a later Beatles album. And I feel like he just kind of overproduced some of the songs and also the track listing. But one song I feel like he didn't botch in his wall of sound production is Across the Universe. And while I do feel like, yes, it does have like a kind of wall of sound quality to it, I feel like it actually kind of helps this track somewhat, even though it has kind of a weird filter on, or a weird effect on John's vocals. I feel like this is still a beautiful track. It still has a really good chorus and a really good choir to it. And yeah, John's vocals are just amazing on this track. Dig a Pony, it's a good Beatles track. I would probably put it down in B tier. Dig It, it's like not great. It's nothing super special. One thing I am confused about is why Phil thought it was a good idea to put two like kind of random jam sessions in it that don't really add much to the album, yet not add like Don't Let Me Down or like other fully released songs. There were so many other songs, but he just decided to put random jam sessions in, which is kind of confusing to me. Yeah, as I said before, the track listing is another bad part in my opinion. The main example being Get Back as the last track on the album, which doesn't fit at all as an album closer in my opinion. It's a good track, but I just don't feel like it's a good album closer. For You Blue, it's B tier again. It's a decent blues track by the Beatles, or a little bit above average Beatles track. Get Back is an A tier track. I do like how bluesy this song is, and it's pretty, it's very easy to jam out to. Very, very easy to just bop your head to. It's a very good track. And I feel like it isn't botched in Phil's production here. I Me Mine, another great track. I really do like George's vocals on this, and I feel like the chorus is catchy as well. And yeah, a really good track. I've Got a Feeling is, again, another pretty good blues track, but probably going low A tier. Top of B tier. Let It Be is the only masterpiece on this album, in my opinion. Yes, I know Across the Universe exists, but even with that said, of Let It Be being a masterpiece, I'm pretty sure there was an organ track that just got completely destroyed in the mix. And I know the common complaint of, oh, an album's very good, but the mixing, oh no, the mixing is terrible. Yeah, I know that's a common complaint, but it's kind of a valid one. I feel like it doesn't ruin an album if an album has bad mixing, but it can certainly detract from it. And this is a decent example of it. Keep in mind, I do listen to the mixes by Giles Martin, not Phil Spector himself. So no, I'm not listening to like the mono versions. I'm listening to stereo versions. But even with that said, even then, with a new mix by Giles, that organ is just completely buried in the mix for the addition of a trumpet and a chorus, or a choir, something like that. But yeah, I feel like that just kind of overblows it. But even then, this is still a great track, still great piano work by Paul, still great vocals by him, very catchy, very, very fucking catchy chorus. And yeah, an overall amazing song, even with that flaw that I do have with this track. Maggie May, another decent jam track that I don't know really why it was included in the first place. One After 909, another decent blues track that's a little bit above average, probably going here. The Long and Winding Road, while I do really like, while I do think it's a really great, not really great, but I feel like it's a great track, it's not as good as these, and this is the worst offender when it comes to the wall of sound approach from Phil Spector. He just completely drowned it out in chorus and the choir, and like it just completely overblown it for like no, or not no reason, but But yeah, I feel like it just wasn't really warranted. And also, Phil didn't even get permission from like Paul. I'm pretty sure he didn't even get permission to do this, but he just did it anyways. Like, I feel like that's kind of a dick move to do, especially when you're producing an entire album. You should get like permission from everyone involved. But anyways, Two of Us, it's a good album opener. I feel like this is a pretty good track, probably around here. But yeah, that's basically it. I really think this is just a good Beatles album. I've yet to listen to Let It Be Naked, which is the kind of re-release version of Let It Be, but by Paul instead. And that was supposed to be more tailored toward what they were imagining the album to actually sound like, and like not overproduced and stuff like that. But I do need to listen to that, and maybe I will prefer that more than the Phil Spector version. And also there's the Giles there's maybe it's not, I don't remember the other mix what it was called, but there was another mix where it's supposed to be kind of like a live setting kind of sound to it. I need to listen to that. There's so many different versions of this album, but yeah, I'm gonna listen to Let It Be Naked first, and then maybe the kind of live rendition of this album. But yeah, that's my ranking. I feel like this is a good Beatles album, but nothing extremely spectacular rather than Let It Be. But for the second time, even then, it still has its flaws. And yeah, I feel like it's not even close to Abbey Road for me. Not even close. But yeah, that's basically it, and I will see you guys later. Goodbye.